All right, y'all hanging in there? This should be our last part. So, remember last time we did our fixed expenses, our variable expenses. Now we're on to our saving. We started talking about our emergency fund. Once we get all of our savings categories, we'll do some math. We'll do some financial goal planning, and then you should be done. This should be a functional document for you. So I'm going to try to squeeze it all in the next 15 minutes. So we started talking about saving and the importance of paying yourself first, right? If you don't have any savings, then you'll end up going into debt quicker, which is not good. We'll talk about that more in theme 2. You will not be able to meet your financial goals, and overall, your money's just going to leave faster than you can keep it, right? Savings is saying money, you go where I tell you, okay? So remember, the first thing we're going to be building is our emergency fund. Our emergency fund is going to be what keeps us from going into debt. So think flat tire, think emergency vet bills if you decide to get a dog. Think about ReadyMed, right? If you're somebody who you don't have a primary doctor and you got to go get checked out every now and then when you get the sniffles, right? Any of that stuff we can't plan for, okay? I'm going to recommend the Dave Ramsey method for this emergency fund. What that means is you're going to try to get to $1,000 as quick as possible in your emergency fund. Think trying to get to $1,000 in savings within realistically like 2 months, right? It shouldn't take you 6-7 months to have $1,000 in your emergency fund. So let's go ahead. Let's start by setting aside $200 every single month into that emergency fund, right? Do you remember way back when we were talking about saving, what most experts say you should be saving? They said 10 to 15% of your monthly income. You're going to notice when we do math in a second, we'll be able to check if this is at 10 to 15%, okay? So we're going to save $200 in that emergency fund, okay? The next thing that we're going to be saving for is going to be for holidays, right? Is where in here in our expenses do you see birthday gift for mom on her birthday? It's not there. So you may have to sacrifice some of your fund money 1 month, right? If you didn't want to put this as a saving. But then what about Christmas? What about your brother Timmy's birthday? We know that people are going to have birthdays. We know that Christmas is going to come, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, any of those like get-together holidays, right? Where it's traditional to exchange gifts. You're going to want some money set aside for that. So instead of worrying about spending $1,000 each Christmas, let's just set aside, I don't know, $25 a month. What's 25 times 12? Then each year we'll have over $300 to spend on stuff. Now, as you get older and as you get a higher paying job, maybe as you get a romantic partner or a roommate, anything like that, you might be able to pool your money for a little bit more than that. But for a young person at 18, just imagine if you had a full $300 every single year to be able to spend on people you love, okay? So let's plan on holidays in there. We're going to talk about, see, I have some specific ones because I have specific goals, but I want to make sure that we're doing ones that are good for you guys. Let's do type 1 of your savings, one of your My Savings Plan goals right here. So if for you that's house, if for you that is I want to be able to have a family, be able to pay the medical bills, if that is I want to pay off my student debt, you will write that right here. So you would write house down payment if that was one of your goals. You would write scholarship, right? Or not scholarship, you would say student loan payoff, right? You would write medical bills, or you would write child care if one of your goals was to have kids, right? So make this third one, right? So emergency fund, holidays, make this third one specific to you, okay? So whatever one of your goals was, okay? So I'll kind of leave that blank. I'll just put your goal and we'll make it $100. Now, when we check our math, some of you may have to go back and change this and I'll tell you why, okay? So let's do your goal and $150. Okay, good. And what color should we make savings? I don't know what looks cool. Not orange because we're at Snyder High School. How about, we haven't used yellow yet. Let's do yellow. Okay. Again, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. So it's, oh, I clicked wrong. Again, all I'm doing is I'm highlighting all these, dragging over, fill. Okay. Let's do that same thing up here, just so we're being consistent. Fill. 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 And fill. Okay. We're going to do one last thing before we check our math. Okay. Do you see how all these labels are kind of off to one side? We're going to put them in the middle. And here's how we do that. So follow along with me. Click Deductions. Scroll over. And you're going to hit Combine right here where it says Merge Cells. So Paint Bucket, Border, Merge Cells. Click. And it's going to turn those two baby cells into one big cell. Now Deductions is still off to the side. Let's fix that. Right next to where you hit Merge Cells, you're going to hit Horizontal Align. You're going to change that to Center Align. Boom. And that's going to put your title right here in the middle of all your deductions. Okay. So let's do that for fixed expenses. So click, drag, merge, and then go over here to horizontal, change that to center. Boom. Awesome. Let's do that for variable. Click, drag, merge, horizontal, center. Saving, click, drag, merge, horizontal, center. Good job. Okay. Now, right before we check our math, let's add in some borders. So highlight all of the boxes you've done so far. This is optional. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to, but it just makes things look even crispier. Okay. So again, you're going to start up on gross income, highlight all of the cells we've done so far. Look at all that progress. That already looks great. If you showed this to mom, dad, auntie, uncle, they'd already be so proud of how far you've come. Okay. So right next to your paint bucket, it's going to say borders. Click on that. And this will give you all these different options. I could do that. Every single box has its own border. Only the horizontal lines have borders. Only the bottom. We're going to make sure that every single box has a border. Watch this. Click. Ooh, and doesn't that look nice? Now this looks like a big fancy chart. Look, no borders, with borders. No borders, with borders. So how did I do that? Highlight everything. Whoop. Click over here next to merge cells, borders, all borders. Boom. And that's going to make it look really nice and crispy. Okay. Now, here's where we're going to check our math.
Mr. Daniels, I only take home $1,000, and I'm already paying $1,090 in rent and utilities.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. This pay stub was for how many pay periods? Let's look. It's only for a 2-week period. So how many of these will I actually get a month? Not 1, but 2. So we've got to go back. We've got to add a line. So this net income is actually per pay. I'm going to show you what to do if you ever make an oopsie poopsie like this. We got to add net income per month. And here's how we're going to do that. So click on fixed expenses. Now you're going to right click, and you're going to insert a row above. See what happens? Boop. Now I've got this extra row that wasn't here before. Fixed expenses used to be in 10. Now it's in 11. So we're going to change these gray cells from gray to green. And I'm going to write net income per month. Why do I want to know per month? Because all of these are my monthly expenses. It's awesome to know per pay. We want to know per month. Now, do I have to do the thing where I multiply this by 2, multiply these by 2? No. We already know that this number is going to be correct even if I change all these, right? that number is still going to change. So if this number is always going to be correct, and I know that I get 2 pays per month, guess what? All I got to do is I got to take this number times 2. So here's how we're going to do that. Click into this box, double click, hit equals, which is right by your backspace. Then you're going to click on 1087. So just click on it. It should put B9 in there. Now you got to hit times. Your times symbol is above the number 8. So hit Shift 8. That should put that little star right there. That means times. And how many pay periods do we get per month? 2. Okay. Once you have all that there, hit enter. That's how much money we're going to make a month. 2174. Now, we're making something called a zero budget. What is a zero budget? A zero budget means that every single dollar is accounted for. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can spell. I can't spell. We don't want any money just floating out there in the universe. We want to say if I make $2,174 after taxes, hang on, sorry, I'm fixing one thing. Right? Is we want to remind ourselves that this is every 2 weeks, not every month. Okay? If you really want to go above and beyond, you could do the same thing we did down here, where you're going to take this, do the whole insert a row, but we're not going to do that. Okay? So we want to make sure if we're making $2,174.74, we want to make sure that I'm spending all that I'm telling every dollar where to go, even if it's into my own pocket, which is my savings account. So here's how we're going to check our math. Are you ready? It's really technical. We call it the math checker. So go ahead, come over here to D10. So just leave a space between net income per month, and you're going to write math checker. Okay? In the box next to math checker, here's what we're going to do. It's another equation. Hit equals by the backspace. Your per month minus, which is to the right of the number 0. Now you got to do the sum thing again. Sum parentheses. Now where did I get that parentheses? That's Shift 9. Highlight all your fixed expenses. End parentheses. Okay? Now, I still have all this stuff to worry about. So, you're going to hit minus, come on, man, minus sum of all these, drag and drop, minus all of your savings. Minus the sum, of all these. I'm going to go through that one more time, okay? Now, before I hit enter, let me explain to you what I'm telling the computer to do. So, what I've done is I've hit E10. I'm saying that this box should equal B10. What's B10? That's this number. This box should be this number minus all my fixed expenses added together. That's what sum means. Sum means add together. So it should be 2174 minus all my fixed expenses added together, minus all my variable expenses added together, minus my savings added together. So now just looking at this, do you think it's going to be a positive or negative number? Positive means we haven't spent the $2,000 yet. Negative means we've spent over $2,000. Take your guess. 3, 2, 1. And it's negative. So that means that in our budget right now, we're missing about $400. So we got to find a way to make this number equal 0. Why does it equal negative 407? That's because we only make $2,174 and we're spending $2,174 and an extra $400. So we got to find somewhere to trim out $407. Okay? So, in my last 10 seconds, let's go through this again. Okay? You're going to hit equals your monthly minus the sum of all of your fixed minus the sum. Oh, am I still recording? Do I have more than 15 minutes? Minus the sum of all of my variable. And again, I'm just dragging, guys. That's all I'm doing. Minus the sum of all of my savings. Boop. Oh, come on. Minus the sum of all. Oh, what's going on now? Stop it. Stop it. Sum of these three. What did I say I was putting in the emergency? Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. There we go. Boom. And that's what gives us that negative 407. I'm going to pause because I don't know if I actually have more than 15 minutes. So maybe you're not even seeing this.